So yeah, I added this slide, on test architecture last night. Okay, so this is more in detail, right? So yesterday I explained this diagram, right, everyone? So did you go through that recording session, or can we have one quick assessment on this? No response from anyone? You don't want assessment?
Yesterday I didn't attend the sessions.
Okay, because a real person will be there here. We will not be a virtual user. Okay, so a real person will be starting the test, monitoring the test, and driving the test. Okay, so it can't be a virtual user. It should be a real person. Otherwise, we will not have job, guys. మీకు మాకు జాబ్స్ ఉండవు, ఇక్కడ కూడా వర్చువల్ యూజర్ ఉంటాయి. Okay, if that is also automated, we will not have jobs, we will not have packages, all these lakhs and lakhs of packages. Okay. Now, so this is this diagram explains you in detail. Okay, so this is web server, right? Oh, sorry. So these are okay. Let me come from the beginning. Okay, so I assume that this is a performance test engineer. So he is using some tool like LoadRunner or JMeter or NeoLoad. I mentioned it here. LoadRunner, JMeter or NeoLoad. These are the popular performance testing tools, as you know already, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
You know that or no? Right? This is a performance test engineer who is using some tool like LoadRunner or JMeter or NeoLoad. I mentioned it here, right? And depending on the number of users, number of agents will be used, right? Depending on the number of users means the target user load, how many users with how many users you have to test the application. These machines will be depending on that. Is it clear? Suppose you want to test with some 10,000 users, right? So you may need some 2 machines or 3 machines. Okay, these are load generators or load agents, right? Load runner terminology lo, these are called as load generator. If it is JMeter, those are called as, those machines are called as slaves or worker, right? So slaves ante like they felt like Apache felt like slaves ante a word anta baledani they changed it to worker. Okay, recently they changed it, till last version they used to call it as master slave. Okay, but now they are calling that as controller and worker, okay. So if you see the JMeter diagrams, right? Okay, we're not going to JMeter now, we are already running out of time. Anyways, so in LoadRunner they are called as this, the main machine from which we run the test, that is called as controller machine, and the machines which we actually use for running scripts, right, those are called as load generators, right? Here I mentioned as load agents because I used a generic term. Okay, irrespective of the tool, this is a generic term, general term for load generators, load agents. Is it clear? Those are nothing but different computers, different machines. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Right now, all these load generator machines will be running the scripts and they will be simulating virtual users. And your virtual users will go to see, I have shown represented a dotted line here. So this is coming to our part, right? And this all relates to, belongs to the application that we are testing. The right side part belongs to the application that you are testing. Suppose you are testing some travel application like some web tours, or some Kona cart, e-commerce application like Kona cart, or a JPET store, right? So all this right part belongs to that application, right? You will have something called load balancer, right? I covered it in the performance testing basics, if you remember. Okay, let me bring up that. If you remember, like the 3-tier architecture, when I explained 3-tier architecture, okay, now the diagrams are loading, the images are loading. Morning these images did not load for me somehow. So if you remember, when I explained this 3-tier architecture, right, there is, I have shown you something called load balancer here, right? Guys, able to follow?
Yes, sir.
There is some load balancer here, right? One
Yes,
load
sir.
balancer here, one load balancer here, and another load balancer here, right? So this is, this is that load balancer. Okay, the same load balancer, right? You see here one load balancer called F5, right? F5 is one popular load balancer that is used by in most of the projects. F5 is one popular load balancer. Okay, that is nothing but one software. Okay, it's not a box. Okay, so it is another software. You got it? Right, that is another software, guys. Okay, and it is, F5 is the company that it developed. There is a software organization called F5. So they named their product after after their company's name, right? F5 is there is a software organization called F5. Okay, so they developed this load balancer, and as their product is very much successful, right? So you see that F5 over here on this, right? So there will be all your virtual user load will go to the load balancer, and load balancer will distribute to all the web servers. We have in this diagram, you have 3 web servers, right? It need not be only 3, guys. It depends on your project. Some projects may be having only 1 web server, right? So some may be having more than 4 or 5 or 6, it may be, right? For a large scale application like, IRCTC, they may be having, 8 or 9 or 10 web servers also, because how many users, you know, does IRCTC have per day? IRCTC application will be used by how many users? I gave some numbers.
5 to 6
5
lakh.
to
5 to
6
6 lakhs.
5 to 6 lakh users. IRCTC application will be having 5 to 6 lakh users before pandemic, not now, right? So they used to have like 5 to 6 lakh users booking tickets, and how many tickets will be booked per day? Used to
9 to 10 lakhs.
no 18 to 20 lakhs, up to 20 lakh tickets will be booked per day in IRCTC. Okay, all these numbers are officially announced by IRCTC when they came for a public issue. IRCTC came to a public issue like 2 years back. At that time, they announced all these numbers, like what is their revenue, how many tickets are booked online, how many tickets are booked in reservation counters, right? All these numbers are announced officially. Okay, those are the numbers that I told you, right? So per day, like before the pandemic, I mean normally like 18 to 20 lakh tickets will be booked per day through IRCTC, and out of those 18 to 20 lakhs, 3 to 4 lakhs will be booked in reservation counters. The remaining 16 lakhs, 15 to 16 lakhs, whatever it is, will be majority of the tickets will be booked online through irctc.co.in website, right? And like, so a large scale application will have like multiple web servers, like some 8 or 10 web servers like that. Here in this diagram, I have shown you 3 web servers, right? And what are the popular web servers, guys?
WebLogic. Red
No,
Hat,
it is not a web. It is not a web server. WebLogic is not a web server. It's an
application server.
application server.
Apache Town. Apache.
Apache HTTP server. That is one popular web server. Next comes, what is the other one? Okay, I didn't cover that, of course. Like those who attended JMeter or completed JMeter, they may be knowing. Everyone will not be knowing. So what are the popular web servers are is like Apache HTTP, Nginx, Nginx. Let me show that slide. I will cover this in the once you complete JMeter also. I will cover that. Okay. This is my server monitoring. You can search here. Right? Please give me a moment. So I'll explain all the different web servers and database servers when I cover this slide, monitoring and DB concepts. I'll be covering that. Okay. So, but I just want to give you, an idea, brief idea about what are the web servers, app servers in the market, right? So these are the popular web servers, guys: Apache HTTP and Nginx. Apache HTTP is an open source. Means it
Cannot
is.
see Kishore. At least me, I cannot see.
What is that?
Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, yes.
I'm not able to see. Not sure about others.
How about others? Are you able to see this, server monitoring slide?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, visible, sir.
Sir.
Okay, maybe it's an internet issue from your side, Bharti.
Okay.
Please check your internet connection once with speedtest.net or else refresh. No, it is not refresh, but maybe it is an issue from your side. It should be an issue from your side because all others are seen, right? So these are the popular web servers: Apache HTTP, Nginx, right? So Apache HTTP is an open source, means it's free. It's completely free. You need not purchase any license to use this. You can download it from internet and you can use it, right? And it has, that's why it has 40% market share. And next, Nginx is the other server, right? So hdfcbank.com and IRCTC use this Nginx server. Okay, I have captured some screenshots of this. Okay, let me show you. So I captured this, screenshot when there is some error on. You see, generally it won't show the, their web server, app server. They will not show that. But like when IRCTC is not working, right? I got this, this is a test page, it seems. So here you can see, welcome to Nginx, and guys,
Yes, sir.
right? So like IRCTC uses Nginx server on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, means all their servers are Linux servers, not Windows, right? That's what it means. So, and the flavor of Linux is RHEL. This is in short called as RHEL, RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay. So this page is used to test the proper operation of Nginx HTTP server after it has been installed. So I saw that, and just to show you, I took a screenshot immediately. Okay, but you will not see this. If you type, IRCTC, you will not see this, right? So when there is some issue, they are displaying this page. That's why, just to show you, I captured this one. Okay. So, so IRCTC uses this web server. Their web server is Nginx server. Okay. And in the same way, I captured for HDFC also, but I don't remember like where I saved it. Okay. I couldn't see that. Yeah, this is how your test architecture will be. This is our part, this is, testing part, and this is the actual application under test. The right side, separated by dotted line, right? So this part is the application under test, right? So, and like, load agents, the number of machines that we require depends on the target user load, how many users we want to test. Suppose you want to test only 500 or 1000 users, only one LG is enough. Okay. Got it right?
Yes, sir.
But if you want to test with a high number of users, right, like 10,000, 20,000, or 1 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakhs, right, you need multiple load generator machines, obviously. All right. And for monitoring these servers, right, so when we are executing a load test, we have to monitor web server, application server, database server, and all this, right? For monitoring these servers, we can use multiple tools, right? Perfmon is a basic tool for Windows operating system. If it is Linux operating system, Nmon is another basic tool, right? If it is Nmon, same like Windows ki Perfmon elago, Linux operating system, we have something called Nmon, right? Those are free tools. We need not pay any license, but but those provide basic functionality. Manual work will be more, right? So for that we use some tools like Java Melody or something for for monitoring. What is the purpose of monitoring here? Why should we monitor each layer?
To find performance bottlenecks.
Right. So to find performance bottlenecks, we have to monitor all the servers, right? Say for example, on one of the servers or on web servers, CPU is not sufficient, right? If you have some performance issues, means users are not getting good response time, or some pages are taking more time to load. Some you observe that, right? Sometimes you don't get a proper response from the server. You have to wait for a long time, right? So means there are some performance issues. If you want to find out the root cause, what is the reason for that performance issue? See, for example, we'll take one real-time example that everyone will do generally. Suppose your laptop or desktop is not responding, it's very slow. When you open multiple programs, it is assume that it is very slow. What do you normally do?
Task manager.
Yeah. So you go to task manager, you open task manager and see, whether it is, CPU issue or memory issue, right? You go to performance tab and see if it is a CPU issue or memory issue or disk issue, first of all. Yes or no?
Yes.
If your CPU is hitting 100% or if your memory is hitting 100%, obviously your system will become slow, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So in the same way, when we are running a load test, right? When you are running a load test, you have to monitor all the servers, to see if there is, any server level issues or application level issues also. We have to see, first thing is we have to see whether there are server level resource issues, okay, or operating system issues, OS issues, OS level issues, okay. Okay, let me explain this, in this way. So these are the general counters that we monitor when we are doing a load test, right? These are server side metrics that we monitor. And why these are called as general counters means these counters are, applicable for any server, whether it is a web server, app server, or DB server. We will monitor what is the CPU utilization, what is the memory utilization, and what is the disk utilization, right? These are the different counters we will monitor, right? Once we complete, this, I will cover this, once we complete that controller concept, before going for a load test, right? I will cover this again. Okay. But like these are the things we need to see, right? Yes or no? Suppose you are traveling, you are going on a bike, if it is going slow, right? So what you will check? Assume that it is going very slow, right? It's not going fast. So you have to see, like, whether, what do you see generally? First thing you have to check is tire pressure, right?
Yes.
Right? And as an end user, you will see, like, first you will see what is the tire pressure, first of all, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If there is less tire pressure, it will go, obviously it will go very slow, right? Then we will see, like, think about, like, servicing and all, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the general counters, the server side metrics that we will monitor at each layer. At web server, application server, and database server, we have to monitor all these metrics. If you are using a tool, it will monitor. Okay, don't worry about that. Like we people like think like, oh, ఇంకో కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉందా నేర్చుకోవాల్సింది అనుకుంటున్నారు అప్పుడే కొంతమంది. I know that. Okay, right. So we'll monitor at each level. For monitoring, we have some free tools like Perfmon and Nmon, and we have some licensed tools as well. We'll use some tools like advanced tools, like advanced tools. We will not depend on Perfmon and Nmon, okay, because these are very basic tools and not used nowadays, right? But small to projects, they may be still using this Perfmon and Nmon. That's why I mentioned here. Now, so coming to application servers, for monitoring application servers, right, we have multiple tools like JConsole, right? Apart from Perfmon and Nmon, you can monitor them with JConsole, JProfiler, DotTrace. DotTrace is for .NET applications, okay. And for database also, you have multiple tools. If it is Oracle database, Oracle creates a report called AWR report, okay. So like we can analyze that AWR report, or else if it is a SQL server, we have something called MySQL profiler. We have to do SQL profiling. We'll discuss all those. What is this? What are these profiling and all? We'll discuss that later. But this is a in-depth architecture of any application that you are testing. Any queries over here before we move to the next topic?
One, Kishore, like you said, we are not using Perfmon currently, right? So
Mhm.
what is the, I mean, reason behind it? Like why, when you said we are limiting the usage of it to smaller applications. So what does that mean?
So there will be more manual work in Puffmon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, you need to add the counters, all the counters, and you need to copy it onto all the servers, and you have to start it and you have to stop it. You have before starting the test, you have to start that, and after stopping the test, you have to stop those and all. So it
Okay.
requires some manual work. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so that's why like we have some tools, like some tools nowadays. So if you want to monitor Java applications, you can
Mm-hmm.
use some tool like called Java Melody, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is a one-time job. So if you copy that, if you deploy that Java Melody once,
Mm-hmm.
you need not start and stop it every time. So you can pull but it will be running in the background, and you will be, you can pull the report for whatever duration you want.
So is it like development team will be taking care of this during their
No,
deployment?
no, no, no. We have to take care of that. We have to decide like which monitoring tool we have to use, and we have to take care of deploying that.
Okay. Okay.
That's a simple process. I'll show you. Okay, before starting the test execution, I'll show you that.
Sure.
You
Sure.
just need to copy. It's a free tool. So
Mm-hmm.
you can just copy 3 jar files and copy it to the application, copy it to the server. For example, you have Tomcat server as your application server. So you have to copy it to some folder on Tomcat, and that will be running in the background. So every time you need not start it and stop it, or you need not bother whether it is working or not. That's right.
Okay.
And it will give you a nice report. Perfmon and Nmon, what happens is they will generate a CSV file. We have to generate the graphs from that. I'll show you both. I'll show Perfmon, Nmon, as well as the Java Melody.
Sure.
I will
Kishore.
cover both of them. Please give me a moment. So in a load testing, right, the target can be either concurrent users or number of transactions as well. So we are discussing this one, right? The target can be concurrent users or number of users or transactions, right? So suppose your target is concurrent users. Client will tell you like, I want to test my application with 5,000 users or 10,000 users or 1 lakh users, whatever it is, right? Some projects, it can be very less also. I want to test my application with, some clients want to test the application with 500 users or 600 users. That's it. One load generator is enough, and like it's simple test, right? 500 users, and you will not have much issue, that is a simple one. But it can be number of transactions also. For example, if you take IRCTC, let's assume that per hour some 1 lakh tickets will be booked, right? 1 lakh tickets will be booked per hour, right? Let's assume that 1 lakh tickets will be booked per hour, right? So what is the TPS now? So what is the TPS? Transactions per second. So you get that this is 1 hour
Sir.
divided by 60. Sorry. 1 lakh divided by some 60. This is per minute. So per minute, 1600 tickets will be booked approximately. Again, divide by 60. You will get, right? So per second, 27 tickets will be booked. Assume that, per second, 27 tickets will be booked. Now, if IRCTC comes for testing, the target will be this. I want to make sure that, on an average, 27 tickets will be almost 28, right? They'll say like, my application should be able to handle some 30 tickets per second or 28 tickets per second. Transactions, 28 transactions per second. Okay. Transaction can be anything, login also. It can be login, it can be, searching for trains, all those, right? I just gave an example, guys. Okay. Are you able to follow or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? And then check the behavior of the system during incremental load. It is right. Check the behavior of the system means behavior of the application. Behavior means here behavior means behavior of the application. What does it mean?
Performance.
Bottlenecks.
Bottlenecks. Behavior of the application means response time. How are the response times? Whether the page is loading properly or not, right? Whether if there are any errors, how is the application performance? Behavior means application performance here, right? And it is performed in a performed in a controlled environment, under controlled environment, and goal is to identify amount of load can the application under test withstand, means how many users can the application support, right? So this is the goal of perform load testing. This is this is in detail about the load testing. There are other types of testing like stress testing, endurance testing, and volume testing and scalability testing. We'll discuss in the detail later on. Okay, right? So I want to oh, it's already 9:17. I'll stop it here. It's already 9:17. I'll stop it here. So let me see. Let me go to the next slide and so I'll explain these, one by one. Like when we do load test, first we are going to do a load test. That's why, I explained this part. And we'll see like when we are doing a stress test or endurance test, we'll see, I'll explain this, each of them, right? Otherwise it will be overdose for you, I know, right? And this is a checklist for test execution. So any project, when you are working in any project, so you have to prepare a checklist like this so that, you will not miss anything, right? So this is a typical thing. You may have more steps or less steps, okay? But generally you have to maintain a checklist. If before starting any test execution, you have to maintain a checklist like this. What are those? Let us, let's discuss those in detail, one by one, and I'll quickly give you an overview. First, we have to make sure that all key business scenarios manually and make sure that there are no major functional defects, isn't it? First, you have to make sure that all your business scenarios are working manually. Suppose you are testing a travel application, right? Suppose like if your ticket booking is not working, then there is no point of doing a performance testing. Yes or no? There is some functional issue. Ticket booking work out లేదు manual గా browser లోంచి, right? Then there is no point of doing performance testing, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? ఎందుకంటే ఒక యూజర్ తోనే వర్క్ అవ్వకపోతే మల్టిపుల్ యూజర్స్ లో డెఫినెట్లీ ఇట్ విల్ ఫెయిల్, రైట్? అసలు ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ there is no point in, doesn't make any sense to do performance testing. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So we have to check whether all the business scenarios are working manually and make sure that there are no major functional defects, right? And script review and sanity test for all the scripts, right? So you have to do the script review before going for the test, right? Someone, some senior resource in the team should do the script review. Generally your team lead or project lead should do this script review. Okay, means someone should verify your script, మీరు చేసిన scripts ni some senior resource should verify those all the scripts whether they are working or not, and they have to do sanity testing for all the scripts. Sanity testing means testing those scripts individually, right? So that is sanity testing or smoke testing. That is also called as smoke testing, right? And then test data validation and make sure we have enough test data. Means, for example, you are running for for some 5,000 user test, right? So you should be having usernames, passwords, and if you want to insert some other data like address and all, you need to have the test data, right? And also username password should be working. All the username passwords should be working. Generally client will provide you the test data, means usernames passwords anni someone from the client side will provide that, right? So and sometimes your passwords expire after some time. Yes or no? Password expiry policy will be there for any application. 3 months koksari, generally it will be for 3 months or 6 months. Your passwords will expire. So you have to make sure that all your credentials are working before doing a test, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you have to make sure that your test data is valid, right? Your test data is valid and there are no expired credentials, or there are no expired data. There is no expired data like that, right? And we have to make sure that we have enough test data also. Any scripts ki, like you have to make sure that all scripts have enough test data, right? This also I'll explain, like when we are doing testing again, we'll come across this one. All right. And clean up the script, comment out unnecessary output messages. Okay. When we are developing the script, we keep some comments and all, right? You can keep anything, when you are developing the script, many people, like they'll put some comments, or they'll put some unnecessary output messages using LR output message or LR, right, log message, right? So you have to comment out those unnecessary output messages and clean up the script. Your script should be clean and tidy. It should be, you should not put, a lot of comments, unnecessary comments and all, right? Some people will, give their name, or some people will, see, so different people will do different lot of things when they are doing scripting. But, when the script review, when in the script review phase, they have to remove that unnecessary comments and clean up the script, right? Because, like once the testing is completed, or else, client will be asking to share the scripts to them, right? So, you should not keep your, your names or your girlfriend names or boyfriend names in your script. Some people will give like LR output message and give their, their name or their girlfriend or boyfriend name, right? So don't do, like you have to remove all those unnecessary comments and output messages. Got it? So during script review phase, you have to take care of that, because, it doesn't, it doesn't look good if you share the scripts to someone, if someone sees the scripts, right? So that is cleaning up the script. And also you should maintain proper indentation. Let me show you. So you should maintain proper indentation of the script, right? Indentation means this one. So, see here, the LR start transaction, this is started at this column. Again, it ended at the same column. This is called indentation. So as LR start transaction started here, it should end here, right? So you see some indentation, right? And these two are, aligned together. Yes or no? These two functions. Guys, able to follow or no?
Yes, sir. Able to.
Right? So this is called, indentation, and, you have to maintain this, like then the script looks good, right? So if it is like this, how is it? See, is it good like this, or, like this, right? This looks more good. Like on seeing the start transaction, you'll see like end transaction, they both are aligned together, and in the same way, these two functions are aligned together, right? So this is called as indentation. Indentation. Okay, you can note it down if you want. So this is cleaning up of the script. And also, if you write some output messages, unnecessary output messages, you have to remove them. All right, before starting the script, because all those output messages will be some overhead on the script. They will put some overhead on the tool. Okay. Next, test environment row count versus production row count. I will explain this later. You will not be able to understand now. I'll explain this test environment row count, and it is a bit, big topic. So I will explain that later. Okay. And smoke test or warm up test. So before starting the actual test, actual load test 1000 users to cheyalankondi, right? So you do a smoke test with, some 50 or 100 users. Smoke test means like, a sample test. Okay. A trial run. We call that as a trial run also, or some people call that as a dry run. Dry run, smoke test, trial run, all these are one and the same. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
See, smoke test, right, or dry run, or trial run, right? These are all one and the same. Actual load test chese mundu, before going for the actual load test, you have to do some trial run with all the scripts, together, and all the machines, all the load generator machines. Okay. Because when you are sanity testing చేసేటప్పుడు, when you are doing sanity testing for the scripts, right, you run it from your local machine, not from the load generator machine, right? Smoke test, when you are doing a smoke test, right, so you have to do it on the load generator machines, from these machines, or, here from these machines, so that if there are any issues in this, right, so for example, one machine doesn't have internet connection, then, obviously it will not, your script will not work, right? So to check those internet issues, I mean, or connectivity issues, or, test data issues, or suppose, for example, the disk is full on one machine, right? Hard disk is completely full on one machine, so your scripts can't be run, right? Majlo test fail avachchu, your test may fail in the middle, right? To avoid that, first of all you have to check whether there is enough disk space on all those machines. Any machines, load generator machines mida, you have to make sure that there is enough disk space, right? And also all the machines are having connectivity to the application or not, whether we can access the application from all the machines or not. For that we do a smoke test or warm up test. That is also called warm up test. So different organizations use different terminology. That's why I'm mentioning all those smoke test, warm up test, or dry run or trial run. Let me add that also. Dry run or trial run. Okay. Suppose if your actual test is 1000 users, you can do a smoke test with 50 users or 100 users. Clear? Guys, able to follow or no?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, we can follow.
Shall we stop here? Okay, we'll stop here. So we'll discuss the remaining topics tomorrow. But you have to maintain a checklist like this. Then only like you will do a proper testing. Okay. So if you miss any of these, right, your test may fail, and you may have to redo the test. Okay, that's why it's better to maintain a checklist. Otherwise, if you miss something, right, so you may need to, your test may fail. Suppose my test data, you don't have enough test data in the scripts. Your scripts may fail in the middle, right? If you use unique each iteration, for example, if you use unique each iteration in parameters, suppose if you use unique each iteration, right? So after some iterations, your data may be over, right? Yes or no? Unique each iteration annappudu, like you cannot use the same data, right? Again and again you cannot use that, right? Unless until you give continue in cyclic manner. Cyclic manner ante yes, you can reuse the data. But if you use unique each iteration, about we user select చేసుకున్నారు అనుకోండి, means ఒకసారి యూజ్ చేసిన యూజర్ మళ్ళీ if you cannot use that again. Yes or no? ఏ సినారియోలో అవుతుంది అది? When can't you reuse the users?
Registration.
Right. User registration law, you cannot use the same username again, right? Then you have to make sure that suppose 1 hour lo some 1000 registrations అవ్వాలనుకోండి, you should be providing at least 1000 data, right? 1000 usernames and passwords, right? 1000 different usernames ఇవ్వాలి. Yes or no?
Sir.
So in such case, you have to make sure that you provide enough test data in the script, user registration and scripts, right? So if you miss that, if you don't provide enough test data, you may need to stop the test in the middle, or your test may fail and you may need to redo the test. Multi test execute cheyalsi ravochu, right? That's why you have to maintain a checklist like this, correct?